I started getting premonitions. मतलब मुझे पहले से पता चल जाता था कि क्या होने वाला है.
Something that cannot be explained or recreated in a scientific lab.
There is a lot of difference between the real and the real. Real is very different compared to the real.
Many people term it as pseudoscience, which is not true, because it's something that is beyond what we are taught in our schools and colleges. This topic has been exploited so much by all kind of people that people now refrain to say कि अरे मैंने कुछ देखा ऐसा या फिर मेरे घर पे कुछ हो रहा है or something like that.
Definitely no one should try any form of spirit communication until you know the field.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. We are good.
How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much actually for sparing your valuable time and talking to Take One.
No, it's always fun actually. Always fun to talk about paranormal.
Even I think it's a very exciting topic for everyone who's listening right now because it is not something that we talk on a daily basis. Like it's maybe like we are spending time with our friends at night, then we talk about something like that, or with our friends, but not on a daily basis. Like what exactly is paranormal and how these things are being done by you people, of course.
Yeah. Very true actually what you just mentioned that and that's why it's a topic that we call as it's a taboo, it's not usually discussed in a country like India, and for all the right reasons I believe, because over the years this topic has been exploited so much by all kind of people that people now refrain to say कि अरे मैंने कुछ देखा ऐसा या फिर मेरे घर पे कुछ हो रहा है or something like that.
I want to ask what exactly is paranormal, Sarbajeet. What exactly is paranormal? In layman language, if you can explain.
Yeah, so in very simple terms, paranormal is an incidence basically, or an activity, or something that cannot be explained or recreated in a scientific lab. That's the whole idea, a whole definition of paranormal. And it many people term it as pseudoscience, which is not true, because it's something that is beyond what we are taught in our schools and colleges. It's a science that is not usually discussed, not usually shared, like you just mentioned. कि ऐसे ही कोई बात नहीं करता unless you are surrounded by like-minded people. So yeah, that's what paranormal is in simple terms.
And now, ma'am, I would like to ask you, like you are a PLR therapist. So what exactly it is?
Okay, so that's the past life regression. PLR, the full form of that is past life regression. So there are actually many things. The root cause of which, the issues that people face in their lives, whether it is health issues or relationship issues or any kind of issues, many times the root of that does not lie in this lifetime. Because no matter इंसान क्या करे, लेकिन वो क्यों हो रही है चीज, and उससे हम कैसे ठीक हो पाए या उसको कैसे हम दूर करें, वो इस लाइफ टाइम में उसके आंसर्स नहीं होते हैं. So it's basically that this present life, it is a subtotal of many lives that we have lived in the past, and उसके जो imprints होते हैं वो हमारी subconscious mind में रहते हैं. So that's what we do during the therapy, that we tap into the subconscious and we help the person relieve those symptoms which are coming from the past.
So if anyone who's watching us right now, and even for me it's a new thing to learn, we can actually do it. It's not something that we watch in movies, but we can actually experience by professionals like you.
Yeah.
So now everyone has a journey to embark, everyone has a starting point. So I would like to know how you started your journey, your professions.
Yeah, actually for me personally, I was terrified of darkness actually. Darkness was something that used to unnerve me since childhood, because originally I'm from Odisha, and the eastern part of the country specifically has a lot of horror stories, haunted stories, urban legends and folklores and all those of things. And I grew up listening to those stories, and those stories created this fear in me that I started fearing them. I started fearing the unknown, I started fearing the darkness, and it continued till I was 15, 16 years old. It was terrifying. It was affecting me in every possible way, emotionally, physically, a lot of things happened, and I was like, this is something that I need to overcome, otherwise it is going to engulf me in its darkness, basically in its smoke or whatever it is. And that is when I got these questions in 2013, 2012, I think, when I got these questions that, what is this thing that I'm fearing to? Is it something that I have watched on Z, horror show, or on Ahad, or things like that? Or is it something that I've heard as a story from my friends or relatives? Is it something that can kill me? Is it something that wears a white sari, has ulte pair and nambe nakhun? What is that thing that I'm fearing to? And I realized that I'm fearing something that I don't know, because all these were just stories for me. They had no credibility, they had no proof, they had no authentication. But I was still fearing. So I'm fearing something that I don't know. And that is when my journey began in 2012, end of 2012, early 2013, when I started knowing the unknown. I started researching the unknown. I started getting into the part where I figure out कि होता क्या है, अंधेरे में होता है, लोग अंधेरे से क्यों रहते हैं, कुछ तो है. तो अगर वो अंधेरे के ऊपर हम रिसर्च कर लें, अंधेरे में अगर लाइट लगा लें, तो पता चल जाएगा ना कि दीवार है, कि इंसान है, कि पेड़ है, पौधा है, कुछ तो है. And that was the beginning of my journey. But over the years, as in जैसे मैंने research चालू किया, I met a lot of people. I started asking a lot of people their point of views. What do they believe? Because it really matters. The belief system is an important thing in a field like this. And these people were like, they all had their own opinions, but one thing that connected them was this fear of the unknown. A kid who is 6-7 years old, or an old guy in his 80s or 90s, they all feared the same thing. They all feared the darkness and the unknown. And that is when I was like, maybe I need to start helping all these people who are going through exactly what I went through, and that became my mission. And on that journey of trying to help out people, I met Pooja, who had her own story going on in Maharashtra, actually.
For me, it began when I was a little girl. I mean, it was always there with me, because as a little girl, I remembered my past lives. And I mean, it's not believable, but yeah, there were multiple lifetimes that I remember. And I could give the description of, I gave the description of places which I was visiting for the first time, and they were actually true when my parents tried to find out. I was just 4 that time. So yeah, freaked my parents enough. But when those memories started fading around, when I was 9 or 10, something else started surfacing for me. I started getting premonitions. मतलब मुझे पहले से पता चल जाता था कि क्या होने वाला है. Now that was something very I won't say it was unusual for me that time, लेकिन मुझे तब ऐसा लगता था कि सबके साथ ऐसा होता है, because I was so small that I thought that this is normal for everybody. But gradually when I came to know कि नहीं, this is something that I am facing, that is when I realized, all right, there is something, that I need to look into. I still kind of ignored it, क्योंकि अच्छी चीजें अच्छी लगती हैं, लेकिन जब बुरी चीजें पहले से पता चल जाती हैं, then that's not a very good thing that somebody at that age wants to experience. So there was this incident where I had foreseen my mom's accident actually before it occurred. So that was something that was a turning point for my life, when I realized that I think I need to look into what is happening. So I started connecting with my psychic abilities, and I started researching on it. And the final thing that actually pushed me into becoming a paranormal investigator and using my psychic abilities to help others was when my house got haunted. So मेरा खुद का घर haunt हुआ था. There were multiple entities. बहुत सारी चीजें होती थी, like right from knocks and footsteps and electrical appliances burst हो जाना मेरी आंखों के सामने. Those were the terrible 2 months of my life. But इतना वो डर के साथ जो मैं वो जी हूँ, that time I was like, no, that there is something that is happening with me which is different. I need to look into it. क्या है? So that's when I started researching on the paranormal. And during that research, I met him. Because I was like, I need to help myself. I need to make sure कि ये चीज मेरे साथ वापस ना हो. And at the same time, since I was exploring my psychic abilities, I was like, it's not just me. There are more people out there, but they don't talk about it. So, that's how we got together and we started discussing. I mean, we made the organization.
So, like you said, this thing was always with you, that instinct. But there's a section of society who debunk this theory. They don't believe in all these things. So, how do you tackle with them, or how do you tell them that it's actually there?
We don't actually.
Yeah, we don't try to convince anybody. अब जो
Yeah.
चीज है वो है. Because see, someone who wants to believe will believe us as it is, you know. And if someone does not want to believe, आप उसके सामने कितना भी proof रख दो, they will not believe. It's just that the people should have an open mind about this
Yeah,
subject.
there's this saying that goes by, no proof is needed for a believer and no proof is enough for a non-believer.
Right. So we
that-
never try to
Yeah.
convince anybody.
And it's been 10 years, the accumulative kar le agar hum log, to we have been together along with our team members, Savio and Shiva and the other team members. We have been doing this for the last 40 years, very honestly. अगर हम सारे experience add कर लें सबका, and over the last 40 years we have come across all kind of people, and yes, like you said, we do get a very serious bunch of people who do not believe in it and try to debunk it, and that's absolutely fine. They are entitled to their opinion, their views and everything. That's absolutely fine. But people, मतलब लोगों को shock लगेगा to the kind of clients we have. They will never expect कि अच्छा ये लोग भी believe कर सकते हैं ऐसी चीजों पे. Starting from industrialists to people who are working in the industry, Bollywood industry, or any kind of entertainment industry, from the owners of multinational companies, all are our clients somewhere or the other, and they all believe, because ultimately that's what makes us learn, as that helps us in growing as a human being. The more open you are, the more you grow, because the moment imagine a doctor in the 1900s, in the 20th century, just saying that कि अरे नहीं कैंसर का तो कोई क्योर हो ही नहीं सकता. तो आज कैंसर का कोई क्योर नहीं होता. But like I remember my grandmother passed away due to cancer because there was no treatment for cancer back then in 2000 की बात कर रहा हूँ, early 2000 की बात कर रहा हूँ. But इमेजिन कीजिए ना कि कोई अगर डॉक्टर होता है या फिर साइंटिस्ट बोलता है कि यार कैंसर का कोई क्योर है ही नहीं, छोड़ो ना, क्या करना है. सो द मोमेंट दे शट डाउन, द मोमेंट समवन शट्स डाउन, दैट पर्सन स्टॉप्स ग्रोइंग. And like Pooja said, we do not specifically work on proving them anything, or whenever we come across anyone like that, and we do come across every single time we host an event or something like that, and we just say it's fine, absolutely, and it's still our friend, but just be open to it. Anything can happen. It's a world that is yet to be measured, yet to be experienced, yet to be explored, and anything can happen. सोचिए ना अभी जो टेलीस्कोप से अपन को फोटो देखने को मिला, किसको आइडिया था इतने सारे यूनिवर्सेस होंगे? No one had any idea. So it's
just that if someone has not seen it or experienced it themselves, does not mean the thing does not exist. Correct. So we just have to keep ourselves open, and that's what we suggest everybody. We don't try to change any belief systems because we respect everyone. Yeah. It's just that we tell everyone just be open to all possibilities. I mean, it's a universe of all possibilities, and we have to just stay open.
Definitely, I think in today's world, anything is possible.
Exactly.
That's a true scenario. That's true.
Yeah.
So now that you've told me that you're working for almost over 10 years now, so tell me that one encounter that still freaks you out, or you think that's the most terrifying encounter of your life till date?
यार अभी तक नहीं मिला वैसा कोई भी experience. I know it's a very turn off kind of a thing, but because why I'd say why हम लोग को अभी तक नहीं मिला, because as paranormal investigators we are actually not going out to investigate a place for thrill. So when we are investigating a place and the door opens up on its own without any wind, without any air pressure or anything as such, we know it's an entity, it's a spirit, it's something that's paranormal that's doing it. इसलिए अगर आप हमारे and that's I think one of the reasons why we don't have so many views on our YouTube channel is because we know what we are doing, and yeah, there have been a lot of cases which have terrified us in a way that the history of it, like the human aspect of it, that's what have been really, really crazy some of the places that we have investigated.
I think, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's right to say, but the humans have terrified us more than the spirits.
Yeah, very honest.
During the investigation, sometimes such crazy experiences that the humans have terrified us.
Yeah, because a place can be haunted by due to multiple reasons, and one of the reasons are the people who are staying at that place. So if the people who are in a particular house are doing negative or illegal things, including drugs or any kind of illegal criminal thing, then that place becomes a portal or a hub for negative entities, because lower vibration attracts lower entities, lower frequency entities, and lower frequency entities are entities who would like to scare you, would like to be violent, be aggressive.
They're basically looking for someone to latch on to. They are looking for a host. And ज़्यादातर ये जो low vibrational जगह हैं, low vibrational, people who are vibrating at a lower frequency, they become the targets.
Yeah, so we investigated, this particular place here in Maharashtra where, usually the history is so dark. So this place was built in 1800s, and it was initially it was a church. Now, when it was a church, the father of that church was murdered in daylight, and a few years later, it became a prison for the people who were captured during the World War. So the prisoners of war, the POWs, were brought to this particular place, and there was this room where they were tortured to death. And the torture procedures included, piercing iron wires through their bodies, and उनको लटका के उनको torture किया जाता था जब तक वो मर नहीं जाते. And मरने के बाद they were dumped in this particular graveyard, which now lies abandoned. No one cares for them. No, उनकी family member का भी उनको पता नहीं चला कि वो लोग कहाँ पे हैं. And years later, that very place became a school, and even they had so many experiences that they had to shut it down. So when you're investigating, this history, of course, I kept it very brief, but there are many elements to it, and it's a story that can go for 30 minutes or more, very honestly. But this says that, how, I don't know, how so many bad things have happened to that group of people who have bought from different country to a very new country where they were not, taken care. They were instead they were tortured, they were killed to death, and even after death they have still not found peace because they don't know where to go. They are in a very foreign place and they are looking for answers. They are looking for someone to communicate. So when we are communicating with them, we are really into it, and we show a lot of sympathy, empathy towards them, because they are craving to talk to someone. They really want someone to talk to, because सोचिए ना 18th century, मतलब 1800 से 200 साल से कोई ऐसा there's no one to talk to, no one to give them answer कि भाई क्या हुआ तुम्हारे साथ, तुम क्यों हो यहाँ पे, and a lot of these questions are answered during this investigation. So this investigation, there is yet we have yet to find a case that is similar to Conjuring, very honestly. But there have been a lot of other cases where the historical part of it, the humane part of it, is really scary, really dark and really evil. And that just shows, like Pooja just shared, that humans have been really scary in some situations.
Maybe the viewers who are watching us, they can catch up on our book, The Spirits Talk to Me, which has our top 10 stories until 2019.
Yeah.
So जो हमारी top 10 है वो book में है. So yeah, maybe you all can check that out.
Definitely, I'll do that. Like you mentioned the movie Conjuring. So in movies and TV serials, we have a different conceptualization of how paranormal investigations are carried out. So how do you carry out, like the real, I can say the real people who do it, the real professionals? So how do you do it?
I think what I think is as of now, Conjuring has been the only movie which has shown how paranormal investigations are carried.
The investigation
part, not the
other part.
Yeah, the other part, the entertainment part, but the investigation part. Like for example, from using Lauren's psychic abilities.
Yes.
In our case, Pooja does it. We have one more amazing psychic in our team, Savio Furtado. These are two, I can claim that these two are the best psychics in the country and probably in the world too. And so it starts from a psychic reading, very much similar to conjuring. Then after that is done, after the psychics have confirmed if there is a presence or not, then the scientific gadgets come in. So we have a lot of scientific gadgets to confirm, because ultimately, अभी suppose अगर पूजा खड़ी होके बोले अरे तेरे पीछे कोई तो खड़ा है, some entity, some spirit, no one would believe her, because she could just be faking it, very honest. But if we have a gadget, for example, we use one of these gadgets called the electromagnetic field sensor. It's a gadget that detects the changes in the electromagnetic field. Now, suppose Pooja says that, tere piche koi hai, and the moment we turn with that device, the device goes crazy. That's how we know, that's how we prove, okay, there is something that is causing this change, because everything else looks normal. So we use EMF sensors, a lot of them. We use full spectrum cameras to capture any kind of entity, because the normal cameras, the phone cameras or DSLRs, they do not allow all kinds of lights to enter. Generally जो हमारी आंखें हैं वो कुछ limited चीजें ही देख सकती हैं, limited colors देख सकती हैं. But for example, dogs or cats, they have a full spectrum vision. उनका जो seeing का जो colors वो लोग देख सकते हैं widens up. So when we use a full spectrum camera, we are allowing all kinds of colors and X-rays and infrareds and all kind of things to enter through those lenses. So अगर there is some entity that is manifesting जो कि हमें दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है, तो शायद कोई दूसरे spectrum में कर रहा होगा, and that will help us to capture. Then we use temperature sensors to detect any kind of sudden change in temperature. We use motion sensors to figure out if there is a sudden change of motion, or someone is going behind us and we are not aware of it. We use static sensors. Static sensor is ये जो energy form होती है हम जब हाथ घिसते हैं या फिर friction होता है, that's static sensor. So अगर कुछ भी वो spectrum में होता है तो that device is it blinks. Then we use a device called EDI. It's called Environmental Detection Equipment or Instrument. So what it does is it detects any kind of change in the temperature, in the air pressure, in the humidity level, in the EMF, or any kind of thing. Because ultimately, what we are trying to figure out is, being researchers, that when there is a manifestation of something that we call as paranormal, what is changing around us? Because we as humans, we can feel it. हमको feel होता ही है, even if that happens for human beings too, right? Like when you meet a person who is not very good, who is evil or has bad intentions, you just feel it in the gut, right? कि यार ये बंदे में
the vibes से पता चल जाता है, that you feel something bad, you just feel happy meeting somebody.
Yeah.
So the vibes say it all. So we catch it, but as he said, the devices are used to confirm whatever
they are feeling or we are feeling, because it's, as researchers, it is important that we are documenting the changes. Otherwise they are just experiences.
But one thing very important is that where the real paranormal goes and where the real or the movies go, it's very important that the people who are watching it, they should only watch that as entertainment. There is a lot of difference between the real and the real. Real is very different compared to the real. So watch it as entertainment, because what happens is कि वो entertainment तो होता ही है, but वो साथ में घर लेके आते हैं as डर. So that is something that we are trying to work on. That try to differentiate, watch it as entertainment, but real paranormal is different. So these, that is what we are trying to help people with, spreading awareness, so that that fear frequency goes down and they can get to know the reality of paranormal.
And that's why movies like Conjuring are written based on real incidences. They are directly not the copy of real incidences. They're based. कि अच्छा ऐसा कुछ हुआ था तो हमने उठा के उसको मूवी में कुछ तो कर दिया. But people who are looking for real experiences and are wanting answers on it, we do something that's called the Ghost Encounter Stores, and where people like you who are interested in the paranormal can join us, and they can investigate with us. We take them to some of the most haunted locations of the country. They can experience the paranormal in the safest way possible, because we will be around. Generally we get a lot of call where people say, sir, हमको Ouija board करना है, हमको spirit communication करना है, but it's very dangerous, because it's not the spirit but the lack of knowledge that can be dangerous.
Yes. Any form of spirit communication should not be attempted on your own. That is something that we would really like to convey here, because with inquisitiveness and वो होता है, and especially हॉस्टल्स वगैरह में बहुत लोग वीजा करते हैं, प्लानचिट करते हैं, दे ट्राई टू डू स्पिरिट कम्युनिकेशन, बट अंटिल यू आर अवेयर ऑफ आप कैसे डील करो उसके साथ, बिकॉज सी व्हेन यू आर कॉलिंग समवन यू डोंट रियली नो हु इज कमिंग. आप बुलाना किसी को चाह रहे हो लेकिन आ कोई और जा रहा है, एंड देन द एंटिटी इज नॉट वांटिंग टू गो बैक, एंड देन इट्स ऑल अ मेस. So there is, definitely no one should try any form of spirit communication until you know the field.
Yeah.
So that is why, in Ghost Encounter tours, we give that perfect environment, that space where you are with people who are in this field, who know about this field, who will help you experience the facts and also give you, that, that thrill or whatever, and at the same time make sure that you are very, very safe. So yeah, this is for the people.
Yes, you've debunked a lot of facts and like the reality for people, because we do had a notion that what exactly is paranormal, like is it true, is it there or not, and people are just like you said, they are just trying to contact somebody or something like that. So there should be a line drawn, which be done under the professional help like you are.
Exactly.
And definitely that's a wonderful message to all the people out here who are watching us and who will watch us later. Through your journey, they will have an insight what exactly it is, how your work is done. It's not something which is in the later stream now. It's in the mainstream. Of course, it is something to be considered. And you've taken such your time and efforts. You started with the calling, and you started with your fear to overcome something. So that is now they will come together, and you're doing such a wonderful job. So thank you for connecting with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for
so much
calling
for calling us. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.
You too.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.
Thank you.